The cold case started here in this slough, located near Interstate 5, just east of Woodland. That's where the body of Nico Lee Perez was discovered by a fisherman in 2007. And today, his father, 57-year-old Paul Allen Perez, was charged with murder.
The science and power of DNA has shown that monsters and killers cannot hide forever any longer.
Nico Perez's body was wrapped inside this Winnie the Pooh blanket and placed inside a metal cooler. The autopsy report shows the infant suffered multiple fractures, including his skull, ribs, and left leg. But Nico Perez was not the only victim.
Nico was not an only child. We also tragically learned that 4 of his siblings suffered his same fate.
The 5 children were all born between 1992 and 2001 and died before they were 6 months old. It was DNA that helped lead investigators to the accused killer.
We were able to create a list of potential siblings or parents of the victim.
Put him under the jail. If he truly did it, put him under the jail. This is the sign of a demon.
That approach helped us to identify the probable father of the infant in this case.
And that father, Paul Perez, has a long criminal rap sheet for assault, car theft, and manufacturing a deadly weapon while in prison. Investigators are calling him a serial killer who nearly got away with what is now 5 counts of murder.
His arrest was made just days before he was due to be released.
And as for the father in this case, he is set to be arraigned in Yolo County tomorrow at 1:30. In Woodland, Mike Lurie, KCRA 3.
So he was already in jail, about to be released when he was found for this? Or they discovered he was the killer? Absolute crazy situation. Let's go over to the next video where we see the jury convicted him. Let's hear what he was convicted of.
Now to a cold case solved, and a California father now convicted of murdering multiple of his own children, just babies, when they died.
We do want to warn you, some of the details in this case are disturbing. With what led to the break in the case, your reporter covering Yolo County, Ashley Sharp, joins us in studio with more. Ashley.
Well, today in Yolo County Court, more than 20 years after his crimes, Paul Perez was found guilty of murdering his own babies. The mother of the 5 children, Yolanda Perez, testified against her former husband, taking a plea on lesser charges, saying each of the deceased babies were repeatedly abused by Perez before they died. Now, 3 of the children's remains have never been found, but today, thanks to DNA, there's justice.
My question is, did the mother, was she too scared to come to police? Because this happened years ago. And she's finally talking about it? Or was she when the case was happening?
It's a shocking crime. A father convicted in the killing spree of his own infant children. 5 Perez babies are believed to have been younger than 6 months old when they died, from 1992 to 2001. This is Paul Allen Perez entering Yolo County Court in 2025. He was first arrested for the murders in 2020. The arrest came 13 years after a gruesome discovery in a woodland waterway all the way back in 2007, when the body of his child, Nico Lee Perez, was found weighed down in a sealed container in the Conway Slough. As investigators uncovered in 2020, Perez had 4 other deceased children and accused him of murdering all 5.
And I think that if he did do it, he needs to burn. This is a sickening story. And to think that a relative of mine would be accused of such a thing, I don't think any of us would want to be standing here.
Jurors Tuesday found Perez guilty of 1 count of first-degree murder, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 1 count of assault on a child resulting in death. Yolo County District Attorney Jeff Reisig said today in a statement on Perez's conviction, these crimes involved pure evil. The defendant should die in prison. May the souls of his murdered children rest in peace.
That is what I like to hear. That is what I like to hear. Let's get.
So how did investigators crack the cold case?
Most parents in California don't realize that the state actually stores a sample of DNA from every baby born here.
It all comes down to DNA. CBS Investigates California reporter Julie Watts has for more than a decade been reporting on California's storage of blood samples of every child born in the state. Parents don't consent to it before it happens, so it is controversial. But in this case, the blood samples from these babies, stored at a biobank in Richmond, played a key role in making sure Perez did not get away with murder.
Such a terrible story. The DA described Perez as a transient when he committed those crimes and said the killings happened throughout Central and Northern California. He now faces life in prison without the possibility of parole, and he's set to be sentenced in Yolo County Court exactly 3 months from today.
Now to some breaking news. The FBI.
Absolutely crazy situation. We'll get into that next video later. But tell me your thoughts on that whole situation, y'all. Oh, let's go over into, you know, I like to do the AI overview just to see if we missed anything. So let's get over into that real quickly. So as we know, on January 6, 2026, 63-year-old Paul was convicted of murder of his 5 infant children. The killings occurred from 1992 to 2001. So all 5 children, Kato, Mika, Nico Lee, he named 2 children the same thing back to back, and Kato were under 6 months when they at the time of their deaths. So the case began as a cold case in 2007 when a fisherman found the remains of Nico Lee inside a weighted down blanket. So they used familiar DNA. He was found guilty on multiple counts of murder and 1 count of assault on a child, resulting in a death. He was arrested in 2020. Sentence is supposed to be April 6, 2026. At the end of the day, he doesn't need to get out. I don't see any person I don't see any judge in their right mind letting the sentence go for anything less than life in prison. Anything less than life in prison, then something's wrong with the system. Now, he was caught, like they mentioned, was because of the stored DNA. How do y'all feel about that? Do you agree with the stored DNA? It's because it's not consent of the parents, but I am happy that he was able to be convicted, and the killer of these children is gonna stay hopefully in jail for the rest of his life. They might even give him the death penalty. I don't know how. Oh, this is California, ain't it? California ain't got a death penalty. Let's see real quickly. Okay. I think they still do it. Let me see. Capital punishment, California, in August. I'm trying to read the whole thing. They might have it. So we'll have to wait and see about what that whole thing. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on it, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.